Hi, everyone. It's Tessa.
And Joe.
From the Unveiling Paradise podcast.
Tessa, summer is almost here, and so many of our listeners are about to have their epic destination wedding.
And we are so excited for you guys.
Before the big day, guys, we want you to make sure you listen to these 3 episodes.
Episode 62, Deep Diving Your Wedding Ceremony.
Episode 53, Questions Your Wedding Guests Will Ask.
And episode 31, the final countdown to your wedding day.
And if you're planning your wedding here in Hawaii, hit us up and ask us about our Unveiling Paradise podcast promo.
Happy planning.
All right. Hello, listeners, and hello, jet setters. Hello, Tessa. What's up?
Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm super good today.
All right. We have a fun show, something that we've been kind of putting on the back burner, but we are going to be talking about...
destination weddings.
Hey, but not just destination weddings.
Locations.
Our favorite locations to have a destination wedding in the United States. There's all kinds of different places internationally, but today's episode is going to be specifically about our favorite places in the U.S.
Right, in the United States. And it's just important to note that there are so many good places everywhere in the world, but today, just the U.S. Hey, question, is Hawaii a part of the U.S.?
Yeah, of course it is.
Awesome. Okay, so we're definitely going to talk about Hawaii today, right?
Well, I mean, if it makes our top list, right?
Fine, I guess. And hey, you've done a ton of destination weddings, right, in the U.S.?
Yeah. So actually, I'm super excited to share some of my own perspectives from places that we've shot at, but not just limited to where I've photographed at, but these are some of the places that you've also worked as well.
Right. I'm super excited.
All right, let's get to our show.
Welcome to Unveiling Paradise, your go-to destination wedding podcast. I'm Tessa, wedding planner and owner of Fred and Kate Events.
And I'm Joe, wedding and adventure photographer of Joseph Esser Photography. We are based in Hawaii, one of the biggest, most popular locations for destination weddings.
We want to share our real-life experiences with you, give you insight from a professional's perspective, and still make sure you're having fun in the process.
We're huge believers in the fact that planning a destination wedding can be one of the most amazing experiences, and we want to bring you along.
We're so excited to talk with you about weddings, Hawaii, and everything else under the sun.
So pack your bags and let's get started.
Today we're talking about the best locations for destination weddings in the United States. And when we think about destination weddings or weddings in general, what I always like to talk to couples about is what type of wedding do you want to have? What's your vibe? What's the vibe of your guests? What kind of wedding do you want to have? And I feel like your location is a big part of that. Would you agree?
Yeah, so that's something we are always talking about. Destination weddings, you have complete control to choose whatever you want, right? So if you want a super chill beach wedding, you can go to the beach, and go find a location that has that vibe. If you want the tranquility and calm of, a forest or something, you can do that, right? And that's what's so exciting about destination weddings is it's up to you. It's up to you guys as a couple to find that location that fits your vibe, fits your guys' lifestyle, and plan a wedding there.
Right. It's like a build your own adventure for your wedding.
Yeah.
And what's kind of cool, right, is we briefly talked about the whole choosing a location for the weather in a previous episode. I'll link it in our show notes. But in addition to that, it's setting the tone. You talked about the tranquility. If you want the tropical weather, other things to think about is, are you looking for a wedding that's very classy and upscale? Are you looking for a 24/7 party? Because there are amazing destinations all over the U.S. that would be perfect for that wedding.
I think our podcast is slightly biased to Hawaii because Hawaii is always one of the top ranking destination wedding locations on the planet, right? It always hits every top 10 list.
Everywhere you look, Hawaii is definitely on the top, but I think it's going to be really fun today to kind of talk about some of the other places that rank. And again, I always feel like it goes back to what is the vibe that you're looking for your destination wedding.
Okay, so Tessa, but think about all your friends that are in relationship. And I have some friends that are wild, crazy party animals.
Right.
I know where they should get married at. I think there's some really great venues and destinations that I would say go to. It wouldn't be in the mountains, in the forest. It just wouldn't be. It would be in a big city where there's a thriving nightlife, venues that cater to that, right? I also have some friends that are super yogi and they would love to be in that sort of peace and calm and tranquility of a forest.
Right.
Right. And so this is what we're talking about. This is what makes destination weddings so fun.
And unique.
And unique is you get to choose that place that fits your vibe as a couple and create that experience for all your guests to be part of.
Exactly.
Right.
I think you nailed it.
All right, well, let's get into this. We have a bunch of places we're going to talk about. All right, let's start with the best city for a party destination wedding. Can you guess what it is?
Hands down, Las Vegas.
Yes, of course. Las Vegas. We talked about this. Is it the city that sleeps? The city doesn't sleep?
I mean, whatever it is, it definitely does not sleep.
Yeah, right.
Many a times in Las Vegas, and there is no sleeping for us.
If you have a wild crowd and you know your friends want to be dancing the night away, right? Las Vegas is by far my top pick for a destination wedding location.
For that type of couple.
For that type of couple, right?
Right. And I think it's also important to have that type of guest.
Right. And that's also true. Like, know your guests, right? So
yeah, know your crowd.
I think a lot of people think that Las Vegas is just about Elvis and there's little love chapels that you're going to get.
The super over the top, cheesy Elvis ceremonies, right?
Right. But that's not what Las Vegas weddings are about. There are some amazing venues. You think of these hotels, like they're dripping in diamonds and gold and glitter, right? These are amazing places to do a glitz and glam type of a wedding, right? And we know that the party doesn't stop in Las Vegas.
Right.
So if that's your jam, if that's your guest, like if that's the wedding you want to have, I mean, I think hands down, that's my pick.
Yeah. And, I've seen just these over the top ballrooms, like I've been there for, bachelorette parties and other, just outings. And it's just, everything is so over the top and just really, like you said, just dripping in extreme, right? Elegance and glitter and glam and all of that stuff. And I think having a wedding there would just feel so ultra extra, just everything about it. And the great thing is the party doesn't stop. Your wedding's done and then you keep going.
Right. So much fun. Did you hear that all the Elvis wedding chapels are actually getting shut down?
I did. I heard, but can you tell me more?
Okay, so there's some super annoying lawyer for the Elvis Presley estate, right? And so like all these wedding chapels who had Elvis impersonators marrying a couple, they sent out cease and desist letters to all these chapels saying, you do not have Elvis Presley's permission to impersonate him for your wedding. And so all of these chapels now are getting shut down. So I don't know. I think there's only a few venues left where you can actually have Elvis marry you.
So there are some chapels that you can, but not all. Like there's less.
Yeah, I think there's like probably, I don't know, like hundreds of them. And now there's like maybe one or two that are still in operation.
Oh, that's crazy. Because I feel like Elvis is so synonymous with Vegas.
I actually saw a wedding that all the groomsmen were dressed like Elvis. Could you imagine
that? So
cool.
cool.
And it was in Vegas. It was funny, but
only in Vegas that would be cool.
You would not exactly.
Right?
You would not be able to do that in another city or state.
In Hawaii.
Would not make any sense.
Well, Elvis lived in Hawaii too, didn't he?
Right.
So maybe it would have been okay here too. One thing that I love about Las Vegas is it's not just the actual venue for the location, but just if you walk around the properties, everything is so perfectly well done. Everything looks amazing. I cannot imagine as a photographer how cool it is to shoot your couple all over the place, right? In the hotels, they must look so amazing.
Well, and then also you have like these great, like there's so many venues that have these great views of the city at nighttime. So, in your photos and everything, you can see Las Vegas lit up at night and have that as your background. I mean, and you're totally right. The other thing I haven't actually done this yet, but it's on my bucket list of places to shoot at. There's a place called the Neon Graveyard in Las Vegas. It's just on the outskirts of
been
Vegas.
there.
You've been there, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And so you can actually schedule a photo shoot on your wedding day or after your wedding day to take pictures around all the old lit up Vegas marquees,
right.
with the old Las Vegas signs or some of the old hotel properties. And it's super cool.
It's so historic but like fun historic.
One more thing we want to say is a lot of times for Las Vegas weddings, you don't necessarily even have to get married in Las Vegas proper. There's some really cool venues outside of the city in like Henderson where you can have your guests removed from like the big party and then still have that intimate place to have your wedding, to then come back to, have your big reception and everything.
Right. Have you ever been to Vegas? And I've done this before where we've stayed off the Strip because they have more of the spa things happening. So you can spa and there's no smoking and whatnot. And then at night you can go and party all night long and do it. But then you remove yourself from that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's kind of cool for a wedding.
For me, Vegas is not a place for a spa trip. I've never stayed off the Strip. It's
expand your horizon, Joe.
Hangover galore. But it's worth it.
So worth it. So I've heard.
So I know.
Not everybody likes that vibe of 24/7 party, hangover the next day.
It's not for everyone, right?
It isn't.
No.
It's not for everyone. And to be honest, it's not for me. Like, a party every now and then is fine, but like, I cannot go a week. I might die. When I'm thinking about a wedding, I definitely lean more towards peace, tranquility, and the relaxing vibe of like an outdoor mountain retreat.
So where is that?
Honestly, there are tons of great places kind of in the mountain areas, but I do love Bachelor Gulch in Colorado.
So that's your jam.
It's my jam. It's in the mountains. So you have Bachelor Gulch, Beaver Creek, Vail is really popular. What I love about, Bachelor Gulch is they have these really, really great, like Four Seasons, really high-end resorts, and you can do full buyouts. The ski slope is right there, and you can have your wedding and all of your guests stay in the same place. So it's an all-inclusive, but not like a Mexico all-inclusive. This is very high-end. It's very over-the-top, gorgeous, serene. And again, like, they have the spa, they have, the ballroom. So it's everything that you need is right there for your entire getaway with your guests.
You've been there. I haven't actually been there and shot a wedding there. One of my great photography friends out here, she does a ton of destination weddings. She had a wedding at Vail. And we'll share some pictures from that wedding. But she actually had this epic shot. It was this outdoor wedding in the winter, and the snow had just started to fall. And the bride and her dad are walking across this, like, it's a bridge that they made that goes over the pool. And it's just like, if that's your jam, like, it's so pretty. You've got the mountain. I agree with you. You've got the mountains. It's peaceful. It's quiet. Like, when it snows, it's quiet and calm.
Right.
Like, how beautiful is that?
And that's the thing is, right, is like, and I think part of it is because we live in Hawaii. I was born and raised here. Like, I don't get that, right? Like, we don't get the snow. So to me, doing a destination wedding in snow-capped mountains, that just peace and serenity is so over the top amazing for me. I would love to get married there again if I could.
Well, we've done a lot of weddings in Arizona, right? In Phoenix, Sedona. I mean, there's some amazing places.
I love Sedona.
And I like that. Maybe it's warm, but you still have the beauty of the mountain range.
But it snows in Sedona.
It does snow in Sedona. But I think that most of our couples tend to choose kind of the fall or the spring because it's nice and it's not too hot and it's not too cold. I shot this amazing wedding at the Mauna Lucia in Scottsdale, Arizona. I mean, and it's the property is so manicured, but it's a desert vibe. It's a desert landscape. These old historic wooden doors that are probably like 200-300 years old. And you have like the mountains and just that, I don't know, like for me at sunset, a sunset on a mountain range in Arizona where those colors just last forever. It's amazing. You get all like hours of sunset. We call it like the golden hour. It's so beautiful. And and like for me, it's calm, it's tranquil, it's peaceful.
Right. And I think you're right. I did a wedding in Denver. The sunset kept going. It was crazy. I definitely do more Hawaii weddings. And so I wasn't used to the fact that the sunset was lasting probably 2-3 hours long. And it was just so pretty that whole time. Like, there was no rushing around to try to get the sunset before it went down. Like, I'm like, oh, it's still on the horizon. We're still good.
Right. The sunset's over a desert or the sunset's over a mountain. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Love it. And if that's your jam, those are some of our favorite places.
Then do it.
All right, let's get into another favorite of mine. I am so blessed to have been able to travel all over for weddings. And I think we absolutely have to talk about New York City.
I love New York City.
Right?
Yes, let's talk about it.
And New York, it's an amazing cityscape, but it's also, there's so many cool little gems and hidden spots. If you're looking for upscale, if you're looking for classy, that's the spot. Don't you agree?
I do. You see all of those, like the rooftop weddings, just the New York skyline.
Yeah.
There's so many iconic views that just make your wedding memorable for everybody. Tell me about the weddings that you've shot in New York.
Yeah, I mean, New York is so much fun to shoot in. And like coming from Hawaii, it's a totally different vibe. It's like metropolitan, right? And I remember when we were shooting this one wedding, I was like awestruck by all the trains. Like, I love it. Like, I had my couple and I put them on the train tracks and we were able to get the trains moving and the motion blur. And it was just like dynamic, like you're in the city and it's beautiful. I've also shot a lot in Central Park. Central Park is so sick. Like, it's just so amazing. You have so many cool locations. You have like the Bethesda. You've got like the mall where, you see in the movies, right, where everybody's walking this cool little pathway and everything. You've got like all that historical architecture. It's so pretty. I think what I love about New York City is there's also all of these tiny like hole in the wall kind of locations you can have a wedding. So we actually did a wedding and it was a kind of a small mom and pops type of restaurant. It was an Italian restaurant. They had a bar, everything. It was beautiful. And they did a buyout. Behind this restaurant, there was this cute little garden that they did their ceremony. It was an intimate wedding of like 40, 50 people. And then everybody transitioned into the bar and, for dinner at the restaurant. And that's what I love also is like, it's not just the bigness, but there's so much smallness too in a big city like New York.
It is. It's, I love that big city feel, even with a small, intimate crowd.
One thing that I also want to talk about, if we're on the East Coast, is there's other locations on the East Coast I think are even better than New York.
Better than New York?
Yeah. Okay, so
I don't know.
Where did the New Yorkers, like the old school, old money, like the Vanderbilts and the Vanderpumps, where did they go during the summertime?
So, all of those like old money people left the city and they went to like their private estates, their beach homes.
Yeah, beach homes on the countryside, right? There are so many insanely sick properties on the East Coast. I shot this wedding at the Rose Cliff Estate. It's in Newport, Rhode Island, and it's insane. It's this estate that was built in the 1800s for this, I don't know, they were probably New Yorkers or whatever, but it was their old money, right? And this is where they would go during the summertime, and like it's their summer cottage. But like it's not a summer cottage. It's this ginormous mansion with like these huge halls and these huge ballrooms. It's decorated from top to bottom. Just amazing architecture, amazing artwork. And you can have your wedding there, which is so crazy. We'll send pictures and we'll share pictures on our show notes. There are some of these properties that litter the coast that you can rent out for your wedding. I'm in love with them. If you want classy, timeless, these are some of the most amazing properties on the planet.
Right. And I've seen, you showed me some of those pictures the other day, and it looks like, I love the Hallmark Channel, and it just looks like those balls, at the Hallmark Channel, they have like the prince who finds that this girl is a princess, and it's just these huge, amazing ballrooms, right? Just like top to bottom windows, right overlooking the water. They're so epic that you just don't even believe that those things exist.
Right, or that you could actually rent them out for your wedding.
Yeah, that it could be mine for a day.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right, like a lot of these beautiful venues you'll see in movies.
Right.
Right?
It's so cool. That would be amazing.
So Newport, Rhode Island is definitely on one of my top lists. And it's not just the Rose Cliff Estate there. You have the Breakers. That was the Vanderbilt Estate. There's just
it's fabulous.
It's
there.
just so many cool mansions, and the fact that they're available for your wedding, so amazing.
There's one thing that I want to bring up, right? It's gorgeous, and I definitely think we both are on the same page with that. But it's not everyone's vibe. I think it's important to keep that in mind, is that is a vibe for a certain person, right?
Absolutely.
If you're thinking low key, super casual, or even if you want kind of a sophisticated but more rustic vibe, I'm thinking instead of going east, we're heading west.
Okay, but let's take a pit stop in Minnesota. Okay, wait, this doesn't make our top 10 list, but did you know that the Mall of America, which is the biggest mall.
I've been there.
You've been there.
Yeah.
In the U.S. actually has a wedding chapel.
I did know that.
So if, the Newport mansions are not your thing, take a pit stop to Minnesota Mall of America. You can get a Starbucks while you get married.
You can get a Starbucks for all of your guests.
There you go. All right.
Feed your guests.
All right. Let's travel. Let's continue on. Where are we headed to?
Right. So, when I'm thinking sophisticated, rustic, just kind of that really cool, you want a nice wedding, but it's not that over the top, very grand ballroom type of wedding. I'm thinking wine country.
Yes.
Right? I'm thinking Napa. I'm thinking Temecula. All of the wineries
Yes.
are perfect.
Yeah. And you're totally right. West Coast always makes the list. It's usually Napa. Sometimes it's Temecula. I mean, West Coast has so many cool properties, and there's so many venues that are meant for weddings. Again, like where we started, bring it back to you as a couple, your vibe. And if you're like kind of like want to have that peaceful, like calm, you like you enjoy drinking a nice glass of wine, you know, cheese and whatever you're into. Like Napa weddings are so sick, and they're still so classy.
Right. And they're not for the EDM rave all night 24/7 couple.
Right. Totally different vibe. And again, that's what we're talking about. Like you get to choose your own adventure, right? That's so awesome.
You've done a wedding there, right? In Napa?
Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff in California. We actually had this rehearsal dinner that I'll never forget, and it was inside a wine cellar in Napa.
That's so cool.
And literally, it's like oak barrels and candles and flowers, and like this was a rehearsal dinner. There was like 40 people total. I was thinking the whole time, like, what an epic experience. Everybody totally got drunk like they would have in Vegas,
but classier.
But classier with their pinkies up.
Yeah, Elvis is not there.
But again, like, how amazing is that experience for yourself and for your guests, right? We recently had a wedding down in Temecula, which is Southern California's wine district, and Napa's Northern California. Some of these venues are just completely pimped out for weddings, right? Everything about the venue is photogenic. The bridal suite is decked from head to toe with like beautiful mirrors, and the groom suite, such an amazing, like, handsome man cave. where
Why do I have such a visual now? Like I completely have a vision of what you're talking about.
But they had, they had a little bar, they had some vintage things, they had like a little table, it's like meant for guys to get ready, and it's very masculine. There's so many great venues that cater to weddings, that cater to that, like you walk in, the moment you're there from start to finish, you have an experience.
So one of the benefits of having, your wedding in wine country, Temecula, Napa, is the favors. I feel like, you're at this winery, you have these amazing wines, give them out to your guests as favors. You have that memory to take home with you so they can drink it on property for your wedding, rehearsal dinner, whatever, and they can take a bottle home with them as like the memory of your wedding.
Yeah, I love that. Or maybe even like, I don't know, whatever wine paraphernalia, some wine glasses.
Yeah.
Or I don't know,
just like the wine. I mean, just take the wine with you. There's no better gift.
Right. All right. Taking it back home.
There's no place like home.
Well, there's no better place to have a destination wedding than, of course, Hawaii. We have to talk about Hawaii.
Of course, Hawaii.
We are totally biased. But, just to give you guys a little context, we started the show because there wasn't a lot of people talking about destination weddings. We live in the number one destination wedding market for the United States.
Right.
So we have to talk about Hawaii.
We have to talk about Hawaii.
But before we get started, though, tell us what we need to know about planning a wedding in Hawaii.
For sure. What I love about Hawaii weddings is it's easy. So for anyone that's coming from the United States to get married here,
it is a state.
It is a state. So the great thing about Hawaii being a state is there's no passport needed.
Right.
So if you are living in the United States as a citizen, you can come here just like you would any of the other 49 states.
Right, but it's tropical weather. It's beautiful weather year-round.
Exactly, but I felt like it had to be said that we are a part of the United States. You can come here like you would any other state. So travel is easy, not just for you, but for your guests.
Right.
You don't have to worry about passports, visas, anything else. It's easy to get around, right? We speak English, just in case people don't know that. So it's easy, and I think that is really important. The other point that I want to make, and we talked about this in a previous episode, is the weather is close to perfect year-round.
If you're into the beach, tropical vibes, sunscreen. Like,
Sunscreen is so important.
this is a great spot, right? And I think that's why we are such a popular location, is because of that. I don't think, is there any other places in the U.S. that have the weather we have year round that's tropical?
Is it,
and warm?
does Florida?
I don't think so.
Because they're kind of south like us,
Florida
right?
can get really cold. Yeah, for sure.
Like the south of Florida?
Yeah, it gets cold there.
I've never been to Florida.
I've been there a bunch, and it does get cold. Like if you're there in the wintertime, you're not going to be going swimming in the ocean. Well, here's an interesting fact to share with everybody. Each island, though, in Hawaii has its own vibe. So
Yeah.
we're on Oahu. We're the metropolis of all the islands. We have 1 million people that live here, and we have some beautiful locations.
Right.
Some of the islands are more sleepy. Some of our islands have volcanoes. Watch out.
I mean, technically, we're all volcanoes.
But active volcanoes, right?
Yeah.
And so, like in terms of those locations, do you want to be in an island that has a ton of waterfalls? Do your wedding on Kauai. Oahu is the gathering island. Maui has all the beautiful, like luxury properties that they just filmed that HBO series, The White Lotus, at Maui at the Four Seasons there.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's some amazing properties. The Big Island, right? There's some amazing properties that are on like lava fields, and everything is black rock and like black sand beaches.
Right.
Totally unique, right?
Right. And it's definitely, like you said, it's a different vibe than on Oahu, where we live.
Right. Well, okay, so let's talk about, just really quickly, since we have an opportunity, what are some of your favorite things about Oahu as a location? What are some of your favorite venues?
Sure. Well, so, just before we even talk about venues, what I love about being on Oahu is it is, for destination weddings, it's the easiest to get to. A lot of times when you're going to the other islands, depending on where your guests are coming from, they have to come to Oahu first and then go to the other islands. And so it's an additional cost for your guests.
And just because we are a big island with a lot of people doesn't mean that there's not all these amazing gems for locations that have that look and feel of Hawaii.
Yeah, there's tons of different venues. So I know, it's in my head, I'm kind of going around the island of where are the places that I love, right? And they all have, again, even on Oahu, there are so many different venues with different vibes. Right. I know one that you shoot at a lot is Kualoa Ranch.
Yeah, I absolutely love Kualoa Ranch. It's one of my favorite places to shoot. And the reason why is you have like these amazing emerald mountains, that you have in the background of all your photos. And it's like, I mean, these are the places that they filmed Jurassic Park.
Right.
And 51st Dates.
Right.
And so like
Jumanji,
I
right? Love that show.
Right. And so imagine if that's what you're looking for. That vibe, we have that on our island.
Right. So Kualoa Ranch is so cool because it's iconic in movies. You see it everywhere. So to get married there is just, like people know it and see it.
Right.
One area that I think is often overlooked, but I love, is Waikiki.
Sure.
And so I feel like everybody knows the beaches of Waikiki. That is kind of, it's the gathering. It's where all the tourists go, all the hotels are there, and it kind of sometimes I think gets a bad rep where it's crowded, there's people everywhere. But when I'm looking at weddings, a lot of times, right, if you're planning a destination wedding and you want to kind of find a way to work within your budget, it's convenient. Everyone's staying in Waikiki. You don't need to worry about transportation. You have every property brand there. So you can have guests stay at venues that work for them, if they are Hilton people or Marriott people or whatever.
Yeah, if they want to use their Hilton rewards.
Yeah, use your points, right? Because a lot of people travel for work and they have all these points.
Sure.
It's all within a 1 mile strip. And so people can stay and still gather for every event that you do. It's convenient.
And not only that, there are some gorgeous historical properties.
Yeah.
So you have the Moana Surfrider. I believe that was the first hotel in Hawaii.
It was.
And we have the Royal Hawaiian, which is the Pink Palace.
Right.
Again, these are historic properties that are beautiful architecture, beautiful gardens, just so gorgeous. You have a lot of luxury hotels. So you have Halekulani, the Kohala. There's lots of options.
But there's something for everyone. So it's not all luxury hotels.
Yeah. Two more places we want to mention really quick. The west side of the island, where we get all the beautiful, epic sunsets. I love that. We have like the Four Seasons, Aulani. We have a beautiful estate called Lani Kuhonua, where literally it translates where the heaven meets the earth.
Right.
How amazing is that?
And what I tell people, when I'm talking to clients, is when you're getting married out on the west side, the sunsets are just mind-blowing. The sun is literally setting into the ocean. You cannot get a better photo than that. Like on your wedding day, dolled up in your dress or dolled up in a tux, heading out onto the beach or onto the rocks and getting those epic photos, you're going to remember this for the rest of your life.
Yep. One more place, North Shore, where we have the big surf competitions, Pipeline and all those things. There's some great venues up there too. So we have Turtle Bay Resort, which is really, you see that in movies all the time.
Movies all the time, yeah.
Ulu Palms Estate, which is just like this estate that's on the ocean. There's tons of great options.
Right.
Especially if your guests are into surfing, right? You can be in like the surf playground of the world, right?
Right.
Of course, we are totally biased. We can talk about Hawaii all day long. It's one of, I think, the most beautiful places that I could imagine living. So it's a great place for a wedding.
Exactly. There's no place like Hawaii. Let's wrap it up. I feel like we've talked about a lot of great venues, but I think I want to come back to the fact that find a place that makes sense for your wedding. Just like every other factor when choosing a destination wedding, pick a location that works with your vibe.
Yes, for sure. If your dream wedding is at a shopping mall, we got the spot for you.
Do it. Yeah. Listen, I love a shopping mall. I'm not mad about that.
So I would be very nervous if I was getting married at a shopping mall.
Why? You run out of socks? Guess what? You can get socks.
Yeah, is that your vibe though? Like your relationship's going to be shopping all day. Oh no, don't do that.
God, that's the
I
dream.
want to be at the beach.
And that's why you got married in Hawaii.
Right.
That's your vibe. So I want to recap our top 5 destination locations for weddings in the United States.
All right, let's do it. Let's go through the list.
So number 1 was Las Vegas. Party all night, party all day, maybe or maybe not Elvis. No promises, right? Lawsuit pending.
Okay, number 2, mountain country. Right?
Yeah.
Colorado, Arizona. Beautiful, beautiful, tranquil places where you can be one with nature.
Sometimes it snows, sometimes it doesn't. Choose your own adventure. Number 3, East Coast. New York City is always iconic, but our hearts go to the country upscale estates in Newport.
Okay, number 4, the West Coast and all the wine country estates, Napa, Temecula, all those beautiful places where you can be at a vineyard. How awesome.
You can drink and everyone thinks it's okay. And number 5, we have to bring it home, Hawaii.
Yeah.
Right? There's no place like Hawaii.
The beach vibes, sun.
Tropical, right? It's that tropical, more casual. No one has to dress up. It's okay to wear shorts to a wedding. Aloha shirts. No one's here to judge.
Yeah.
You do you.
Unless the couple says, please don't wear shorts to our wedding.
And I don't want you to wear shorts to weddings, so just don't. But you could. I'm saying you could in theory.
Don't. And that's our show. Can I finish with a joke?
I can't wait.
All right. Did you hear about the pencil that married the notebook?
No.
She finally found her Mr. Right. Has nothing to do with destination weddings.
I know. I was trying to bring it back to weddings, but no.
I just had to throw a dad joke out there because I don't know if we had any today. But
no, you're such a dad joker.
Hey, okay. But we hope that you guys got something out of this. We're going to put some of our favorite places in our show notes that we want you guys to take a look at.
Yep.
And of course, if you're planning a wedding in Hawaii, holler at us. Send us messages.
Know.
Yeah, we can be a huge resource. If somebody's planning a wedding, share our podcast because
please do.
We love that.
Yep. Share it. Apple, Spotify, wherever you can find us, just follow us. We would love to share our advice on destination weddings and Hawaii.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Unveiling Paradise.
If you enjoy our show, please follow us and rate us on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. It would really mean a lot.
And don't forget to also get on our mailing list and follow us on Instagram. Just do it already.
Until next time, this is Tessa.
And this is Joe.
And don't forget, your happily ever after
is just a plane ride away.